Greetings all, my name is Bill Vencil. I am an associate director with a consulting firm called Protivity. I work in the IT practice and I've been involved in software development since 1985. So just a couple years ago, I'm like 29 or so, still pretty young. And what I'd like to do today is talk to you about technical writing. And I'd like to talk about a few different types of technical writing. It's a pretty broad topic, and there are several different facets and directions that you can go as you, as a technologist, seek to write about technology. First thing I'd like to discuss is those of you who are developers, software engineers. You're writing each and every day of your career. You're writing code. And I'm here to tell you that the most important thing that you can do is comment your code. Comment your code. If you do not, I can tell you from experience, there will be legions of developers that come after you in the organization that curse you and call you bad names and think evil thoughts about you. Here's a good way to think about commenting code. I'm just going to hold this function up here. For those of you who are software developers, take a look at this. Pause the video if you need to. Embed this into your heart and into your brain and live it out. All right. Let's move on. Next kind of writing I want to talk about is general technical writing. So this could embody white papers, articles, blogs, things of that nature. And so the audience is what you really need to consider here. Who is your audience? Is your audience technical colleagues? Is your audience more business focused? That's going to be a key critical factor in determining how you write about whatever that topic might be. So let's talk about fellow techies. All right. So if you're writing, let's say a blog article about some particular piece of technology, you know that the folks reading your blog article are going to be other technical people. Sweet. You've got full reign to all the technical jargon that you'd like to use to communicate whatever the topic is. That's great. A couple of tips, though, for writing an engaging article to a fellow technologist. One is, don't write more than you need to. Keep it as brief as you can. If you think about what you do when you research technology, Google something, whatever it might be, what are you looking for? You're looking for information quickly. So be sure to write concisely. Be sure to write grammatically correctly. Don't mess up your grammar. Your fellow technologists will curse you, not quite as bad as not commenting your code, but still, they're not going to respect you if you write in poor grammar. Second thing is, I recommend leaving white space in your article or your blog post. In other words, write about the topic in visual chunks with white space, logical chunks. Think about the way you write code. Well, I think you want to approach your technical article in somewhat the same way. Next, include some screenshots, if at all possible. Include code samples, if that makes sense. Include configuration information, if that makes sense. If you do that, though, make sure that they are in separate blocks together. So concise writing, writing in logical blocks, and adding in comments, samples, screenshots, etc. in their own blocks. Make your article visually appealing as something technical can be. All right. What if you're writing for a non-technical audience? Okay, this is a different animal. This person who is business focused, this person who doesn't know technology deeply, assume that they know nothing about what you're writing. Start from ground zero. Communicate every assumption that you can think about, and then communicate more. Now, this doesn't mean that you should be writing in a verbose manner. Write concisely. But don't make any assumptions about what your audience knows, because they probably don't know anything. All right. What else for the non-technical audience? Lose the jargon. Let me say that again. Lose the jargon. You can't include all the terms, acronyms, and other technical jargon, if I can repeat that word again, that your fellow technologists will understand. A non-technologist will not understand that. So lose it all. Write about technology in the way that your non-technical audience is going to interact with that technology. Okay, so what does that mean? That means if you're writing about a piece of software, focus on the user interface. That is the connection between your user and your technology. If you're writing about hardware, focus on the user interface, right? The screen, the keyboard, the switches, the knobs, whatever that might be, and focus on what they do. The non-technical user does not care about what is going on inside. They just want it to work. So when you're writing about technology, tell them how it works in a way that they can understand. All right. So let's see, what have we talked about? Code commenting, writing articles for fellow technologists, writing about technology for non-technologists. Finally, let's talk about the most dreaded topic of all, documentation. All right, so once you create a solution, you're going to need to document it, or you're going to have to work with people who are going to document it for you. In either case, you're going to have to communicate what your technical solution actually does. You're going to have to use small words, you're going to have to use lots of pictures, and you're going to have to communicate more than you think you'll need to describe what your solution does so that when someone sits down to actually use it, they'll be able to use it. So think about that. That's documentation. So those are 4 different facets of technical writing that come to my mind when I think about it. It's much more fun to be involved with the technology, but it is truly an art to write about the technology. Thanks a lot. See you on the flip side.